Thinking about beauty at 30 will give you a new perspective on life. Here's what I learned. Thinking and writing about beauty at 30 is a bit terrifying. And for me, it feels quite vulnerable. I know, you're rolling your eyes at the histrionics. But when I paused for a moment to look at how my appearance and beauty regime has changed over the course of a decade, it was hard not to admit to myself that I'm getting old. It's not necessarily because I feel old or that I look old, having recently been itted while in the unlikely scenario of buying dessert wine in a supermarket. I can quite comfortably say that, but rather, there are now telltale signs of my age that only I know. I hope. If I'm honest, I've been looking for these signs since my 20s. I wondered when I would get my first wrinkle or my first gray and what that would mean. When will things start heading south, and when will men stop finding me attractive? Do other people see all of these aging flaws in me too? These thoughts are trivial in the grand scheme of things, and yet they make me feel incredibly naked to admit because, at the end of the day, it's admitting to a weakness. I know, not a very feminist approach to life. I used to think I would age gracefully, let nature take its course, but now I have fleeting thoughts about getting Botox. Not because I'm actually, seriously thinking about it, but more like, ugh, you look awful today. Maybe you should get Botox, as if that will magically Photoshop my face into perfection. Beauty self-talk isn't kind sometimes. And apparently I'm more influenced by our society's obsession with youth than I thought. So what have I noticed about my aging body? Well, happily, I have no wrinkles, yet. At least, nothing that's set. The single laughter line that appeared in my mid-20s seems to have melted away. That's not necessarily a good sign, but at least it hasn't been replaced by frown lines quite yet. Somehow, in a way I can't quite pinpoint, my skin looks older than it did a decade ago. It's nothing compared to the decade that's to come though. I still get spots because I don't want to have the willpower to give up cheese, even though I'm dairy intolerant, so I just deal with the consequences of my gluttony. But while I'm not ready to make my palate suffer from my beauty quite yet, I am making a conscious effort to get more fruit and veg in my diet. I've also become conscious of the fact that my skin now needs more nourishment, both internally and externally. My forehead still gets shiny by 11 a.m., some things never change, but now my face needs richer moisturizers at night to feel nourished, and more gentle washes, so it doesn't become irritated and develop reactionary pimples. According to anti-aging specialist Dr. Anil Budraja, it's something that happens to everyone. Our skin loses moisture as we age. There are a variety of factors for this. Lifestyle factors like smoking, diet, sun damage, menopause and stress all contribute to reduction in skin moisture due to free radical damage. As we age, we also biologically lose an important substance called hyaluronic acid, HA, from our skin cells. This ingredient is responsible for holding in water and maintaining effective hydration of the skin. In fact, hyaluronic acid can hold water up to 1,000 times its weight. It's a great natural moisturizer for the skin. Thus, we need to replenish the hyaluronic acid we lose. This can be done by applying effective moisturizers that contain HAs, which helps give a glow and refresh to the skin. I guess I'll be doing that next then. I'm trying to sleep more to help it as well. I've discovered 2 gray hairs since I was 28. One was after a particularly traumatic night where I realized the hotel room I had booked fell through at 11 p.m. when I was trying to check in. Typical, I thought at the time. The second was when my mother was helping to trim my hair. I nonchalantly brushed it aside. She was horrified. I think there is a third one coming. It just hasn't quite decided whether it's going ginger or actually silver quite yet. Whether I should dye my hair when the gray really starts showing has been added to the list of things to consider, though. I'm sure it will be the least of my worries when my hair starts thinning and become dull and lifeless, all very real symptoms of aging. On the plus side, I'm making a conscious effort to look after it more as well and to style it better. Today, for example, it's very swishy because I blow-dried it this morning. In my head, I am a walking Pantene advert. Totally not true, of course, but whatever. My teeth aren't as good as I'd like either, aside from the Darien gap separating my two front teeth and the slight chip